Have you ever noticed that some of the things you do every day, things you think are just part of your personality, may not have started with you? Maybe that habit of apologizing for everything, the difficulty saying no, the feeling of always being on alert, the guilt you feel when you rest, the need to control everything. Maybe none of that is drama, being too sensitive, or simply the way you are. Maybe it is your body trying to protect you from something that once felt dangerous. Imagine a simple situation. You are talking to someone. The conversation seems normal, but suddenly, their tone of voice changes. They are not yelling. Maybe they just speak a little more firmly, but your body reacts before your mind can understand what is happening. Your heart starts racing. Your breathing changes. Your hands begin to sweat. You feel the urge to defend yourself, apologize, or leave immediately. And later, you think, why did I react like that? It wasn't even a big deal. But to your body, maybe it was. Because at some point in your life, a change in someone's tone of voice meant danger. It meant conflict. It meant rejection. It meant punishment. It meant you needed to prepare for something bad to happen. And even if today's situation is different, your nervous system may still react as if you are back in that place. This is how some trauma responses show up. Not always as clear memories. Sometimes, they show up as automatic reactions, as fears you cannot fully explain, as behaviors you repeat without realizing it, as ways of protecting yourself that once made sense, but now may be limiting your life. So in this video, we are going to talk about 7 things that may seem normal, but can actually be signs that you learn to live in defense mode, and you may recognize yourself in more than one of them. The first sign is apologizing all the time. You apologize for asking a question, for taking too long to reply, for needing help, for disagreeing, for taking up space. Sometimes, you did nothing wrong, but the word sorry comes out automatically. Sorry to bother you. Sorry for asking. Sorry for saying this. Sorry for feeling this way. From the outside, it may look like politeness, but often, it is not just politeness. It is fear. Fear of upsetting someone, fear of annoying people, fear of seeming difficult, fear of being rejected, fear that if you do not apologize first, there will be consequences later. Maybe at some point, you learned that making mistakes was dangerous, that bothering someone led to punishment, that expressing a need could turn into a fight. So you started apologizing before anyone even complained, as if the apology could reduce the risk, as if it could say, please do not get angry with me. Please do not leave me. Please do not see me as a problem. But when you apologize for existing, you may slowly start to believe that your presence needs to be justified, and it does not. The second sign is difficulty saying no. Many people call this being nice, but in many cases, it is a survival response. You say yes when you want to say no. You accept invitations you do not want. You take on responsibilities that were never yours. You stay available even when you are exhausted. You do favors while feeling resentment inside. And then you blame yourself for feeling tired. But saying no feels almost impossible. Because inside you, no does not feel like just a word. It feels like a threat. It feels like someone will be disappointed. It feels like you may lose love. It feels like people may pull away. It feels like you will be seen as selfish, ungrateful, or difficult. Maybe in the past, saying no really did cost you something. Maybe you were punished, ignored, rejected, called rude, or made to feel guilty for having your own will. So you learned that in order to belong, you had to please. And this creates a silent prison. Because when you spend your life saying yes to others, you are often saying no to yourself. No to your rest, no to your limits, no to your body, no to your truth. And over time, this turns into resentment. You start feeling used, invisible, irritated, and exhausted. Not because you do not care about people, but because a part of you knows you are abandoning yourself in order to be accepted. The third sign is living in a state of alert. You walk into a room and notice everything. Who is quieter than usual? Who seems irritated? Who changed their tone? Who answered differently? Who suddenly became serious? You read the entire environment before you allow yourself to relax. Sometimes, you know something is wrong before anyone says a word. People may call this intuition, sensitivity, perception, and maybe there is sensitivity in it. But very often, There is also hypervigilance. Hypervigilance is when your body learns that it has to monitor the environment in order to protect you. This often happens when you grew up in an unpredictable environment, where someone's mood could change quickly, where silence could mean danger, where one expression on an adult's face was enough to tell you something bad might happen. So you learned to anticipate, to calculate, to predict, to prepare. But the body does not automatically turn this mode off when the difficult season is over. You may be in a safe environment and still feel the need to watch everything, and that is deeply exhausting, because no one sees how tiring it is to live while constantly trying to predict the next problem. The fourth sign is minimizing your own emotions. Someone hurts you and you say, "It's okay." Someone disappoints you and you answer, "It's nothing." You cry alone, wash your face, and come back as if nothing happened. You feel pain, but try to convince yourself that you have no reason to feel it. You feel sad, but tell yourself you are exaggerating. You feel angry, but think you have no right to feel that way. Maybe you learned this early. Maybe your emotions were ignored. Maybe people laughed when you cried. Maybe you were told you were too sensitive, too dramatic, too difficult. Maybe you realized that when you showed pain, no one knew how to hold it, so you started hiding it. And after hiding it so many times, you began to believe it was not that important, but it was. What you feel matters. Your sadness matters. Your discomfort matters. Your exhaustion matters. Your anger may also be trying to show you that a boundary has been crossed. When you minimize your emotions all the time, you begin to disconnect from yourself. And worse, without meaning to, you may teach other people that they do not need to take you seriously either. The fifth sign is not being able to accept help. Someone offers support, and you quickly say, "No, it's okay. I've got it. I'm fine. I can handle it." Even when you are tired. Even when you deeply wish someone would stay. Even when a part of you is silently asking for help. Receiving help feels strange. Sometimes, even uncomfortable. Because depending on someone may have felt dangerous for you. Maybe when you needed help, no one showed up. Maybe they did show up, but later made you pay for it emotionally. Maybe they used your vulnerability against you. Maybe you learned that asking for help was just another way to be disappointed, so you decided to do everything alone. And for a long time that may have protected you, but it may also have left you very lonely, because there is a difference between independence and emotional isolation. Healthy independence means knowing you can take care of yourself. Hyper-independence means feeling like you cannot count on anyone, even when you need to. And that is heavy, very heavy. The sixth sign is feeling guilty for things that are not your responsibility. Someone is sad, and you feel like you should fix it. Two people argue, and you try to mediate. Someone changes their behavior toward you, and you immediately think you did something wrong. Something goes wrong at work, in your family, or in a relationship, and you take the blame before you even understand the situation. It is as if there is a voice inside you saying, "If someone is not okay, I failed. If there is tension, I need to fix it. If someone pulls away, it must be my fault." This can happen to people who grew up in environments where they had to take emotional care of others. Children who had to calm adults down, avoid conflict, be responsible for the peace in the house, notice their parents' moods, never cause trouble. These children may become adults who carry guilt that was never theirs. And this steals lightness from life, because you start trying to fix pain you did not create, save people who may not want to be saved, control situations that do not depend only on you. Living like that is like carrying a backpack full of stones that other people placed there. The seventh sign is not trusting good things when they happen. You receive good news, but you cannot fully celebrate it. You achieve something important, but immediately start imagining how it could go wrong. You meet someone kind, but wait for the moment they will change. You experience a calm period in life, but cannot relax, because inside you, calm feels suspicious, as if something bad is coming, as if happiness is only a pause before the next fall. This pattern can appear when life has taught you not to trust stability. Maybe in the past, good moments were interrupted by fights, abandonment, criticism, or disappointment. So your body learned, do not relax too much, do not trust too much, do not get too attached, prepare yourself. And in an attempt to avoid pain, you may end up sabotaging what is good. You pull away before someone leaves you. You distrust before someone proves anything. You try to control before something escapes your control. You destroy something before someone else can. And then you think, I knew it was not going to work. But sometimes, it did not work because you were trying to protect yourself from an old pain, not from a real threat. Now, it is important to understand something. Recognizing these signs does not mean you are broken. It means you learned to survive. It means your body found ways to protect you when maybe you did not have another option. Apologizing too much may have helped you avoid conflict. Pleasing people may have helped you feel accepted. Staying alert may have helped you predict danger. Not asking for help may have protected you from more disappointment. These strategies had a purpose. They did not come from nowhere. They were attempts to protect you. But a strategy that saved you at one point can imprison you at another. The alertness that once protected you can now steal your peace. The yes that once helped you avoid rejection can now destroy your boundaries. The independence that was once necessary can now keep you from receiving love. The problem is not that you developed defenses. The problem is continuing to live as if you are still in the same danger, as if every difficult conversation is a threat, as if every boundary means abandonment, as if every act of kindness is a debt, as if every moment of joy is the beginning of a loss. Healing begins when you realize, this made sense back then, but maybe it does not need to control my life now. And this process does not happen overnight. The body needs to learn, slowly, that the present can be different from the past. You can begin by observing your reactions with more curiosity and less judgment. Instead of asking, why am I like this? Maybe ask, what is this reaction trying to protect in me? When did I learn that I had to act this way? Is this threat real right now, or is it a memory living in my body? These questions will not solve everything immediately, but they open a door, the door of awareness. And awareness is the first step toward changing a pattern. You do not have to carry this alone. If these behaviors are affecting your relationships, your self-worth, your rest, your work, or the way you live, seeking professional help can make a real difference. Talking to a therapist can help you understand your emotional responses, make sense of your story, and build healthier ways of relating to yourself and others. Asking for help is not weakness. It is care. It is courage. It is a way of saying, I do not have to keep surviving on autopilot. And now tell me, which of these signs spoke to you the most? Did you recognize yourself in any of them? Write it in the comments, because your experience may help someone else feel less alone. If this video made sense to you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who also needs to understand that many reactions are not personal failures. They are traces of what someone had to survive, and those traces can be understood. They can be cared for. They can be transformed. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.